Hello, welcome back. Here is me doing a Gel-X set on my best friend, Jasmine. We usually do dual forms. We usually do dual forms with hard gel. That's my preferred method of extensions. But we decided to give Gel-X a go because we've never tried it on her before. So, yeah, watch and enjoy. I can kind of walk you through my steps. I already prepped her nails. I think I forgot to film that portion. It's pretty much the same as whenever I do dual forms. If she has product on, I file the product down, push back cuticles, use the sanding band, and what else? Then to go straight in with the application. I prefer doing, with this method and with dual forms, I prefer doing the cuticles after the fact. So you'll see that a bit later. I find that it just makes more sense because, at least for me, because with dual forms and Gel-X, at the end, of course, you have to file and shape, but then you need to do, even though you don't have to do all the shaping like you do if you just do regular gel application, you still have to file around the cuticles. So I find that when I'm filing near the cuticles like that, it just kind of roughs up more of the nail and gets more of that dead skin pulled up. So it just seems to work better for me if I wait to cut the cuticles after I do all of that. It just makes a little bit more sense to me. I actually learned that from, I forget what her channel is on YouTube, but mgart.com. Her name is Maria. She does dual forms. So yeah, that's where I got that method from. And it does make a whole lot more sense. Also, if you do happen to, when you're doing your cuticle prep at the beginning, if you happen to get like a little bit too close or anything like that, or, God forbid you make them bleed, which, it happens. If that does happen beforehand, then you run more of a risk of contact dermatitis, and also just sensitivity when you're filing that cuticle area after the Gel-X or the dual form application. So yeah, I just feel like this makes way more sense for me and my clients anyway, and no one has any issues with it. It turns out great every time. I really like it. So yeah, now I'm just taking my nail. I hardly ever use these things, so I forget what they're even called. Even though I use them all the time in school, I don't remember nail cutters, nail tip cutters, I guess. I only use them when I'm doing Gel-X, and I don't really do much Gel-X. I typically do dual forms or just a structured gel manicure for some of my clients. But yeah, mainly dual forms. So I usually take my clippers and just like clip whatever shape I'm wanting. So yeah, I will stop yapping and just let you enjoy the process until I find something that I think might need a little bit more explanation. Yeah, enjoy. I'm getting into the cuticle area, just to make that Gel-X tip flush to the natural nail. And this is where you might be able to see, this is where I'm saying it makes more sense to do cuticle work after. Pardon my head getting in the way. Yeah, because I get pretty close to that cuticle. So especially with clients like my bestie who does have very sensitive cuticles, it just makes way more sense to do it this way. Because then I'm not having to worry about like going over an area that might have been a little bit sensitive or anything like that. So yeah, this just makes a little bit more sense. And I'm kind of just, as I go, I'm making it flush and then also trying to make it, I don't know how to explain this, how to put it in words. So before, what I would do, I would just take my bit like this and I would file around the cuticle like I'm doing, but I would do it where I was focusing more on just that blending part, the blending, you know, the where the two parts meet, the natural nail and the tip. But I try now, because I looked at it from the side a few times, or just whenever I would go to do, now I'm filing underneath. You don't always have to do that with Gel-X, but with how short these were and how thick the apex is, in this particular area, it just made more sense to like file underneath that nail. Anyway, back to my explanation. So yeah, I hold it a little bit more at a flat angle now instead of like I used to. I would just focus on getting that one little part blended. But then when I noticed whenever I would do the nail art, I could see like little bumps and that bugged me. So now I just try to smooth it all where it just all blends seamlessly. If that makes any sense at all. Hopefully it does. So yeah, I will let you watch and I'll jump back on. So for this portion, as you could see before, I was just taking my sanding band and smoothing everything out. A little technical difficulty there, everything was falling. So yeah, I was just taking my sanding band to smooth everything together. I don't always do that with Gel-X, and I don't typically do that with dual forms either. I usually take my almost said bluffing, my buffing block, but I think the reason I did the sanding band is because I was out of my buffers. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, now I'm taking the cuticle bit, and this is mainly, like, I'm not really using this to get any of the, although it does help blend, again, some of the tip to the natural nail. It helps a little bit with that, but I'm mainly getting it just to lift the cuticle, the proximal fold, oh my gosh, wording, the proximal fold. So yeah, I'm mainly using it just to lift that area. That way it's easier to go in with the nippers after the fact. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. And then next I will be nipping her cuticles. So here I am starting with a nail art, and you can watch my last video, I believe, that I posted was just a little, kind of a little behind the scenes of how I do an art consultation, if you will. Yeah, whenever the client has kind of a general idea or they have a few different ideas, this is the part where we just kind of try some things on the nails and see what they like and what they prefer and bounce ideas off each other. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole process, honestly. I really like it. So yeah, we decided to go with just the reflective silver glitter on a few of the nails, as you'll see. And then I thought I filmed myself doing the French tip. So we went in with the same, pardon me, the same silver reflective glitter for, I believe, the two middle fingers. Well, the middle and ring finger on both hands. And we did French tip on those. Yeah, so you see me here starting it, but didn't quite finish it. So yeah, here's the finished result. I hope you enjoyed.